Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. For this video, we'll be going through an unboxing of the high grade 1 to 144 Wodom pod, and this is from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, released by Bandai back in 2020. So here we have the Wodom pod, May's mobile suit. Spoiler, May's external armor. Fun factoid, I actually haven't picked up the May kit thus far. It's on my to-do list, but yeah. Anyway, continuing on with the Re-Rise series, here we have the Wodom pod. I took a little while to get used to this, mainly because I do know the Wodom pod is a bit of a design from Turn A. And some of the Turn A stuff I do find took a little bit longer to get adjusted to, but after a while it did all grow on me. So like that, the Wodom pod was similar. It took a little while for it to grow on me, but when it did, I actually quite like the look. It's very unique and distinct, as much of Turn A was as well. So it was definitely nice to see something different that we don't normally see. So here we have the front of the box, the Wodom pod in its, I dare say, its usual bipedal mode, and then in its little mobile armor / pod mode. I'm sure it has a proper name. That's the front. In terms of the side, well, not the side, in terms of the bottom box, we have some action poses. We do have a bit of a recreation of the front image with the kit itself, just to give an illustration of what it can do. Has its flight form, and then going through some of its weaponry, such as the beam cannon and the missile pod. And then there is a little additional accessory that can be added on, which hindsight has obviously explained what that is, but it was very contentious when it first came out because no one knew what it was for. And then lastly, we have a display of the Wodom pod itself, and then the mobile doll May kit, which I hear is very, very nice. It's definitely something I wouldn't mind getting when it's in stock. So that was the bottom of the box. In terms of the top, front and rear of the Wodom pod, a bit of a description, and it does actually reference Turn A, which is very nice. So that is cool. And then just a little intro to Build Divers and Build Divers Re-Rise. Mainly Re-Rise, not so much Build Divers. It's very cool. Like, without the little attachments, the Wodom pod does look quite cool. And I will admit, I'm actually glad they did keep a bit of symmetry going with some of this, unlike, say, the Turn X. So, now that we've had a look of outside the box, in terms of the inside of the box, what do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of runners, and the manual at the bottom. Now they are larger pieces, so they will not amount to as much plastic when they're all cut up, but should definitely be interesting to have a look through. And the sticker sheet doesn't look too imposing either. So I'll open up all these bags and we'll have a better look at everything that is included. And with everything now out of the bags and box. So here we have the front of the manual, repeat of the front of the box, and then we have the front of the Wodom pod in its line art, and then we have the Wodom pod Plus, which has some extra armaments and shielding. So a bit more of a blurb about the Wodom pod, a bit of a blurb about May herself, and the concept of mobile dolls. So that's the front. In terms of the back, a bit of a rehash of what we saw around the box. So the material Gunpla, which was the Wodom from Turn A, I was about to say Turn X, some of the weapons that are included on it. The mobile doll May to do a bit of a display with her two suits. Well, technically May is the doll. And then reference to the plus armor, just to give it a bit more armor when needed. And we also have the color guide at the bottom. I won't go through it, but everything is listed there. In terms of the build, there's the parts list, basically 2 of everything really, and we do have some stickers which we saw earlier and a included action base. In terms of the build, starting with the body, I do like how some of these instructions have the little order of assembly between 1, 2 and 3. So we have the Wodom pod going to the Wodom pod plus, and then lastly switching it over into its high-speed flight form. So body of the Wodom pod, so that's pretty cool. In fact, most of this build is pretty much body, which is cool. Building through the right arm and the left arm, then the right leg, left leg on the color splash pages, and then putting the arms and legs together. And then there will be the steps to add on the plus armor, which basically looks to be some additional armor around the knees and some on the back. Up the action base, and there will be an action base connection point in the waist area of the Wodom pod, and then the steps to switch it over into the flight form, which is basically, I dare say, tuck arms in and tuck legs up, which I guess is okay. So that was the manual for the Wodom pod. In terms of everything else, so here we have the sticker sheet, relatively small, which is pretty cool. Potentially all of them will be used, which is okay. I think some of them you can't really get around, but yeah, it's actually not too bad. It's a relatively small sticker sheet in the grand scheme of things. Now, as for the runners, we have A1 and A2, both, I dare say this is definitely black. We do have some large pieces, but most of this will probably be the main body of the Wodom pod, and then probably some odds and ends, probably for the arms would be my guess. So there's A1 and A2, as I said, they are both in black. Going through the rest of Noah's Ark, we have B1 and B2 in white. B2 is also a copy of B1. So these will be probably, based on what I can tell, probably for the legs, and I'm sure there's some bits for the arms, and then these unique bits I believe will be some of the missiles and other weapons for the Wodom pod. So that does B1, B2 in white. Moving through C1 and C2 in a very nice turquoise. C2 is also a copy of the top half of C1, well, subject to which view you're looking at it, I guess. So given that that side was pretty much a copy, you would expect duplications for left and right side of arms and legs. We do have the 2 hands here, and some larger bits, once again most likely for the main body. So that's pretty cool. So that was C1, C2. And lastly we have D1 and D2, D2 being a functional copy of the top half of D1. So this, I feel it's like purpley blue, imperial blue. Once again, I'm going back to my days of 40k and trying to pull from paint colors from back then. But yeah, I'd say it's a purpley blue type of color. But it is a very nice color. In fact, I would say the colors actually work really well for the Wodom pod. So that was D1, D2, and then lastly we have BA0, which is your small included action base. I really like how they include these. So that brings us to an end of the unboxing of the Wodom pod. Now, I did forget to mention it at the beginning of the video, which isn't uncommon. The Wodom pod was picked up from HobbyLink Japan, so I'll have a link to the Wodom pod in the description, as well as other kits from Build Divers and Build Divers Re-Rise as well, all of which will be at HobbyLink Japan. So feel free to have a look. I think the Wodom pod, as of recording this video, which isn't too far in the future, so probably just be 2 to 3 days behind in terms of publishing. I believe it was actually in stock and available. So there you go. I do know it's hard to get kits right now, so I definitely strongly recommend, if there's a kit that you want and you don't want to pay 2 to 3 times the amount that some people ask for, which you really shouldn't, you can happily place a back order on HobbyLink. I know I've done that myself in the past as well, and I'm still waiting for some of those back orders to be fulfilled. But it's unfortunate, but at least it's out of the mind. The order is there, it'll be fulfilled when it's fulfilled. So definitely keep that in mind if there are kits that you're after and you're okay with a little bit of a wait. Thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link below. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in the next Re-Rise video. See ya.